You might be wondering how to have that nice "this is the page you're on" feature when using your own menu HTML. Well, let me show you how we can do that. So in the text editor in header.php, here's our navigation menu, and here's the link for About Us. So all we need to do is use the power of PHP and if statements, and only add a special class to this element if certain conditions are met. So let's do this. In between the I and the greater than symbol, let's drop into PHP, and let's say if, parentheses, curly brackets. And actually, if we're going to write this if statement all on a single line instead of breaking down to new lines, we actually don't want the curly brackets. Now we will fill out the condition that lives in the parentheses in just a moment, but if it's true, what do we want to do? Well, we want to echo out a little bit of HTML. So single quote, and within the quotes, we want to echo out class equals double quotes. And the class that we want to add is current menu item, because that corresponds with the special classes in CSS that I've already written for us. So that will make the element light up as yellow to indicate it's the current page. So now all we need to do is fill out the condition within these parentheses. So check this out. There is a function in WordPress named is_page, and then you can give it an argument of the slug for the page that you're looking for. If you can't remember what a slug is, I'll refresh your memory. So for example, on the About Us page, notice how the URL ends in About Us. So that means about-us is the slug for this page. So in our code is page about us. And this function that I've got highlighted right now will return true if that's the page you're on. Otherwise, it returns false. So then we will only echo out this class if it makes sense to, right? So let's save this and refresh. Perfect. Now, the only other thing we need to account for is if you go to a child page of About Us. So on our history, ideally, we would still want the About Us link in the header to light up, even though we're not on that page directly, we're on one of its children pages. So here's what we can do in the code to make that happen. Within the parentheses for our if statement for the condition, right after this first condition here, in between the two parentheses, we can say or, and then list another condition. So let's say, or if the current page has a parent of About Us. So to check for that, we can say, or WP get post parent ID, and it's a function, so give it its own set of parentheses. And within those parentheses, we need to tell this function which page we are trying to find the parent ID of. So we just want to tell it to make that lookup for whatever page the user is currently visiting. So we could say get the ID, call that function, but in order to save ourselves some sanity, instead we can just say 0, and WordPress will understand the 0 to mean look up the current page. Okay, so this code that I'm highlighting right now will return an ID of the parent page, and then let's say if that returns an ID that matches the ID of the About Us page, well, if that evaluates to true, then we want to echo out the special class. So here we just need to type in the numerical ID for the About Us page. So to find that out, you can jump into your admin, because your number might be different than mine. In fact, I can almost guarantee that it will be. So if I click on the About Us page, on my computer it has an ID of 16, but yours might be something different. So now back in our code, we can just type in 16. Cool, so altogether what our if statement is saying is if the current page is the About Us page, or if the current page's parent page is the About Us page, then echo out this special class. So let's save this and refresh the front end of our website. Cool, so I'm on a child page of About Us, but it still knows to stay lit up in the navigation menu. And that's going to bring this lesson to a close. At this point, you now have a basic understanding of using one of two setups: dynamic WordPress menus or your own custom menus. It's totally up to you, but I encourage you to follow along with me because I think it's nice to know how to have fine-grained control like this. Now in our next lesson, we're going to switch gears and begin building out the blog section of our website. Should be a lot of fun. Let's keep things rolling, and I will see you then.